Hi, guys. I'm Marianne Goldweber. I'm a spiritual teacher and owner of a village personal and spiritual development center. And this is my weekly podcast called Marianne's House. And we usually have a spiritual topic that I talk about, trying to help us through these crazy times that we're in. And I'm very excited because tonight, halfway through our webinar, we're going to have Gloria Savage, who's an astrologer. She's been an astrologer for like 40 years. And I'm looking forward to having her with us so that we can talk about all this crazy astrology that's going on. I'm not an astrologer. I know enough to be dangerous, but Gloria can really talk about that in a much more educated way to give you guys an idea of kind of what we're coming up against. Because Monday we're going to have some really historic astrology things going on. So until Gloria joins me on here, I am going to be talking to you guys a little bit tonight about some of the processes you've been going through. And one of the processes that, a lot of people have a hard time with in their grief work of working through the experiences they've been having is forgiveness and how important that is. So, like I said, Gloria's going to be coming on with us in about a half an hour. And so until then, I was going to, open it up to Q&A and those things so that we can talk about it. So I'm going to, I can't see comments when I'm on this because I'm on Zoom. And so I'm going to have to utilize my phone while I do this and get on live with myself to see how this is going. And so let's see how that's going. Talk about it. So I'm going to, I can't see comments when I'm on this, because I'm on Zoom. And so I'm going to have. Nothing's funnier than hearing yourself talk. Okay. So, yes, I'm looking forward to all of you guys and talking to you tonight. We will do some Q&A. And so I see that Janet's on and Ralph and Claire and Peggy. So, yeah, thanks for joining me tonight, guys. This is going to be really wonderful. Christina. Yay! Hi, guys. So, my phone's low on juice, so I don't know if it'll make it the whole time. Well, we should be good. So, anyway, I'm going to keep it up here so I can see your comments. Yeah, so Zoom's a whole nother feature that doesn't always, um, there's a delay on it. So, anyway. So yeah, so welcome, Marianne's House. It's my video podcast. I usually do it, I try to do it twice a week. But this week, again, we're up against some crazy energy, guys, and there's a lot of chaos going on in the world. And so it's really hard to navigate that when, so it makes you feel like you're walking through quicksand. It's very challenging to say the least. Hey, Ryan, tell Janet, tell Ryan I said hi. And yeah, so just try to keep you guys solid while we're all having these experiences. And I know it's challenging, especially with the holidays, the holy days. And again, I think that we're really reinventing how we do things and why we do them. And so again, this is really more about less is more and really reevaluating our belief structures. So whether it's what we believe on a spiritual level, what we believe on a physical level in our world, so we're getting a chance to really reevaluate some of these systems that we work under and how important and valuable they are to you. So yeah, so that's kind of what we're going to talk about. So I know personally, anytime we have a change of awareness, okay, so whether that change is anytime we have a change, so whether it's changing jobs or getting divorced or having to do things in a different way or being forced into something like that, creates a grief process. And so the event kind of scrambles your brain, okay, because your brain's used to seeing things and experiencing things a certain way. And so when something comes along to challenge that and knocks you out of that normal, okay, the brain starts to undergo a process of almost like defragging a computer where it's trying to assimilate this new information into it. And so that wonky time of, it's a roller coaster of, denial and anger and sadness and surrender and acceptance. And that's a process that our brain physically emotionally, and spiritually is going through a reboot, basically. And so it's going to come out the other side of that with a new understanding of what normal actually is. Okay, so normal is relative to where we are. And so as your brain is trying to, it's like, this does not compute. Okay, when this weird thing happens. So, we've experienced so many of these things now because we've got COVID, we've got, changes in leadership and power in our country. We've gone through a year of lots of awakenings, lots of awful and awesome awarenesses. And, so people have been forced into this stillness in their house. So they're in there with their families, and they're in there with their their people. And hold on one second. Hey, Gloria, how are you? Can you hear me? We're live, just so you know, on Facebook.
I am?
You am. So give me two. So I'm gonna finish my little convo I'm having here.
I was just like trying to make sure I'm in the right spot.
Yeah, you're totally in the right spot.
All right.
I know, right?
Okay, cool.
So I'm very excited to have Gloria with us. So what I was talking about was this process that are holistically that we go through when we experience change. Okay, so our brain is trying to assimilate new information. Emotionally, we're on this emotional roller coaster of what to feel. And then spiritually, that's where the spiritual higher perspective takes us above some of these things to help us understand that, that it's happening because it needs to, because it's important. And it's part of our experience or our journey here. And that's really hard to get to when you're having these other experiences. So processing, and I've talked about this in my other videos, is that processing our emotion is so important so that we can get down to that inner knowing, that inner truth, that higher voice that's always guiding us, but we're not always wanting to hear it or listen to it. I mean, Gloria's nodding because, we have a fun story, the two of us. So anyway, and we're two crones who've been doing this a long effing time. And so again, you don't have to like it, but so there's been these awarenesses that come up during this. So people are, cloistered in their house, they're working in a different way, or sometimes they've lost their work. And so they're having to really reinvent a lot of the ways they do things. So they're inside with their families, or they're inside with their kids, or, or the people in your house are having a new awareness as well. And so sometimes when we go through this process, we kind of sit and reflect on who did things to us, or how things happened to us. And so working through to a place of understanding and forgiveness really does require and does help to have that spiritual understanding. So, I always talk about that everyone in our life is somebody that we pick to join us in this journey, on our play that our soul came here to experience. And when we're having the experience, it's very challenging to remember that I asked you to join me. I asked you and I to have a certain experience so that we can learn something from one another. And when those people and situations are good, then that's wonderful. But when you have, what I call the villain in the play, or the antagonist, somebody who's treated us badly, we have to, again, work through the process of the experience that we had, whatever traumatic event we had in that experience with them. And there is a process for working through that. And then the outcome is, through this spiritual accountability, is that there's really nothing to forgive because I asked you to join me. Okay, but we do have to process that. And coming through that process to a place of forgiveness and understanding is a process. And so if you guys watch some of the other videos, I talk about how we process our emotion to get down to that inner truth, which is, I write people letters. Okay, now these are not letters you mail, right, Gloria? These are just for processing purposes. So let's say I have an issue with Gloria, and I'm like, so before I communicate or not communicate with Gloria, I'm going to write, "Dear Gloria, what the hell?" And whatever I'm feeling about the situation. And then I burn that. I let that go. I give it to God.
That's right.
Right? Let it go. Give it to God.
Before the new moon.
Absolutely. So we're going to get to that in a minute. The timings for these is really awesome too, because there's octane boosters that help us through those processes. So we're kind of coming out of that new moon right now anyway. But so that first purging is really just your guttural human stuff. Okay. And you just let it out. And then the second letter is Dear Gloria, and then you get more down to more clarity, more understanding of, okay, well, I really didn't like it when you treated me like this, but I understand that. And then that inner noise will say, well, but I didn't set a good boundary, or I didn't speak up more. And then you burn it. And then you get down to, like I said, you get down to, I should have handled this better. And I'm very grateful that you're in my life, or we have to part company. And then that's the truth. You get down to the unemotional truth. That is what you decide to communicate or not. Now, you don't mail that. You then decide, how do I want to communicate this, if I want to communicate it, or do I just let it go? There's some people that you're never going to be able to reach out back to and mend all those fences, or you want to feel better, so you dredge it up for them. That's not okay either. But this process that we work through spiritually is having your guides help you through these emotional issues that we get through our experiences in life, lesser and greater. And so forgiveness is really not for the other person. It's really for you, because living in regret or resentment is like a wound that keeps getting festered and poked, and it prevents you from really experiencing fully other emotional things in our life. And so again, I've had a lot of villains in my play, and I'm sure Gloria has as well. And I can't be anything but grateful for them, because they made me who I am. Even though I have been the target of other people's dysfunctional crap, it really wasn't ever personal. It was what wounded people do, is they send their brokenness directed at other people. And so trust me, this is a process, and it does sometimes require a mental health professional. Sometimes I recommend a 12-step program. But working through those to really find peace in our life is really important. And so forgiveness is really healing those places, and especially from the spiritual perspective, that allows us to really come to a bit greater understanding of not only ourselves, but other people. I've targeted people with my stuff. So some of the forgiveness that I have to work through is forgiving myself for doing things in my ignorance that maybe hurt other people. So yes, if anybody wants to do any work on that or talk about that in more detail, if you want to give me a call, we can set up a one-on-one session, and so that we can really give you a game plan to help you really clear that road, because this is where I'm going to segue into Gloria. This is the time to put the kibosh and finish everything up until now. Okay, this is the time where we take the emotion, and the experiences we've had, and find those lessons, find those little nuggets of wisdom, and really walk into this next phase of our life lighter, with less baggage. And we're having a time in our world and a time in our astrology where this has not happened for a long, long time. So we're experiencing something that has never happened, and it will not happen again in our lifetime. So anyway, so this is Gloria Savage. So with that said, yay, Gloria, thank you for joining me.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Yes. So Gloria is, it's a long story, and we're going to talk about that a little bit first. But Gloria is an astrologer. She also owns an essential oil company called Archancient. And I actually met Gloria when I had my urban tea store in Rocky River. And that's how we met. Oh my God, we were like two gigantic lights colliding. It was wonderful.
Yeah.
I have not met a lot of energies that rival mine.
Right.
And so God, when Gloria came in, she was like a force. I'm like, I don't know about her. I had to take a minute to see if I was sure about that. But it was really interesting because like Gloria, my business was born of my hobby, which is herbalism. And I had left a 20-year career in banking and took my hobby and turned it into a cottage industry, and then created a location. And, simultaneously, Gloria and I have had very parallel experiences in this life. And so when she walked into my store that day, I was going to carry her products. And so that was something that we were talking about. And it was just kismet. It was amazing. Yeah. And so Jared's still, and that's what's funny. So now fast forward.
Oh my gosh, your little baby. He was there, right? Pulling up and down the stairs. I thought that was so cool that you with this awesome woman and you have this cool shop, because I'm thinking, who's who's got my gig going on in here? And then you have your kid in there, and I thought, oh my God, this chick is so cool. I loved it. I loved that you had your kid there, and he was a very good, well-behaved child. I had no idea, I should have been more prescient at the time to know that he was going to be such an awesome musician too.
Well, okay, so right. So I eventually, through a lot of events, I ended up having to close my store. Gloria can relate to this. I closed my location and I took a year off of life and really just went through my entire life with a spiritual calm and really, took the time to grieve so many things that had happened in my life in that last 9 years, and so that when I came out, I was really just pursuing my spiritual path at that point, because that was really what I was being called to do. And trust me, running a retail store with a 2-year-old was the hardest effing thing I've ever done in my life, with, all these people trying to sabotage it, and so, yeah, so Gloria and I kind of migrated away because we were in two different worlds at that point. Okay, so fast forward, my son becomes a professional musician. Okay, well, I'm standing there and I'm thinking, God, I know this woman. Who is that? Here it's Gloria. I mean, she's a singer too, right? I used to sing in a band too. So anyway, oh my God, it was our two worlds came back together and collided. Now Jared's 14 years old back then. Now he's 24. Can you believe it?
Right.
He's 24 years old. I mean,
No.
so anyway,
Yes.
Gloria and Jared have played together on stage, which is
Right.
amazing to me. And so, yeah, so it's just been a really amazing, wonderful journey. And, as much as Jared always says, Mom, you're like a teddy bear with one eye. You're cute and disturbing at the same time. Okay, so I know a little bit about a lot of things. Herbalism, I know, spiritual shit, I know, but astrology, it requires way too much math. And for me, I'm a Pisces and I can't do the detail that's required with, astrology really is a science. It really is. So anyway, so I'm gonna, so I just want to give you guys a little bit of a backstory on me and Gloria, and then she can talk about her own story. But what we would like to talk about tonight, eventually, is what's going on. Oh, so I've been trying to warn them, Gloria, about what's been going on in this world with the astrology.
Yeah, right.
I mean, we had everything was retrograde. Now, I was born during 4 retrogrades. So that, for me, when retrogrades happen, I'm like, good.
Yeah, right. It's when you have the retrograde in your chart, you're used to it. It's your comfort zone.
Right. I've been going backwards no matter which way I'm going. No matter if everybody's going this way, I'm going that way. And when I'm going
swimming both ways.
Exactly. So I'm screwed no matter what I do.
Yeah.
Well, which makes me just a little more challenging as a human being. But I've overcome a lot of those things now that I'm, 59 years old. And I've learned a lot of lessons about that. But yeah, so these retrogrades don't really affect me the same way they do other people. But boy, when other people are experiencing this and what planets they were in, and all of that's just, to me, fascinating. But what that does to human beings down here on this earth, when these celestial bodies are in transitions and transits and lining up and moving, that causes an effect on this human body. We get emotional, we feel confused, it's bringing up a lot of things. So that's what I want to let Gloria talk about is, so tell me, what's been going on for the last year astrologically here?
Well, the big deal, first off, again, thank you for having me. And I'm trying to, gosh, I have to look at myself. It's something else when I'm getting older.
You kind of froze.
Right? Oh, well, good. That's even better if I'm frozen.
No, okay, you're back.
Okay, back. So the thing is, this year, as everybody can see, has been complete craziness. But I'd have to take it back, just back to 2017 in August. We can all recall where we had that solar eclipse, and people came from all over the planet in August of 2017, and there were traffic jams everywhere because that solar eclipse that came from the northwest, and it came across the United States and exited out visibility wise down through South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, right?
Right.
And so at that time there was traffic jams and so forth. But when you have to understand that that's the first time we've had a solar eclipse only visible in the United States since 1776.
Wow.
Okay, so someone like me, I'm watching because the bigger thing that was catching my attention over a decade ago was that Pluto was the planet Pluto, which is rules Scorpio. Oops, did I just mess up?
No, you're good.
Really? Can you see me? Because I can't see anything.
Oh, well, maybe put yourself on, maybe you reduced everything.
What did I just do?
Tap your screen.
Uh-oh.
I can see you.
You can?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I won't even worry about it then. If you can, if as long as it's working, all I'm looking at is a blank screen that says Zoom on it. But
Oh,
anyway,
okay. Double tap it. Click on it. It'll take you, it should take you back.
not really. And I like it's like whatever you do, you refresh it. This is so. Marianne did mention that we were older. I'm a little older than Marianne, but anyway,
Not much.
no, not much. So Pluto was returning to its natal position when we founded this country in 1776 also. And Pluto re-entered Capricorn in 2008. So for a lot of you, if you go back to that 2008 benchmark, you're going to start to see where you could see on the planet, things start changing. We started to have the Arab Spring in 2010 and so forth, and people are rising up all over the planet, similar to the 60s. And the configurations, there's the same planets in action, Saturn, Uranus, Pluto, and so forth. But what Pluto coming back to the natal position in the United States chart, it hasn't, I mean, that doesn't happen. I mean, it hasn't returned. We call that a return since the country was founded. And Pluto, which rules Scorpio, is death, regeneration. It's the one sign, a planet, it has three symbols, Scorpio, okay? Scorpio has the serpent, the snake, it has the scorpion, and it has the eagle. And so a few years back, you'll recall people were talking about Ophiuchus, which is, I don't even know if I'm the same sign anymore.
Right.
According to this, I'm some other sign now. Well, mystically, it's because we go by the plane of the ecliptic where the planets are and the constellations are. So mystically, Ophiuchus is hidden in the eighth house of Scorpio, and it's the Serpent Handler. It stands between Scorpio and Sagittarius, and so a Serpent Handler, if you understand that Scorpio is the snake, the scorpion, and the eagle, well, the eagle, you'll always see it with its talons clenching a serpent because it's a serpent handler. And Genesis, we're told that because we ate the apple and all this kind of stuff,
Right.
uh, that now we're going to, the serpent, the wise one, okay, has to crawl on its belly now. So, and crawling on your belly, well, that's also your esophagus, your alimentary canal. So when you eat, we're in this world and of this world, and then we have to defecate. And a serpent, a snake, will eat whole. It engorges the whole thing, and then it crushes it, and then it disgorges it, whatever's left of that. Well, the eagle can handle that snake. And what can an eagle do? An eagle can both walk on the earth, but it can fly.
Right.
And it's the one bird, that bird can fly the closest to the sun. And so you could think of Icarus. And, don't fly too close to the sun, and the wings melt, the sun's wings melt. And that's that can happen too spiritually. You can just get so heady and away from being grounded in the earthly plane, knowing that we are of this world.
Well,
right?
we're here to be in this world.
Got
We're
that right.
we're here to be human. However, when we remember our divinity, you know, that there's a balance between those two. You know, there's a meeting of that. So you can't fly, you know, we're not here to be spirit. We're here to be human, have, you know, spirits having this human experience. So in 2017, with this return that happened and
Right.
being in Pluto, you know, that was a solar return for this country, right? Or a Pluto return for this country.
Well, it's actually not, Pluto has not completely returned to its original position in the country yet. Okay. Um, I'm not sure if I'm still there because
Yeah,
I'm still
you're
looking at
here.
it. Oh, okay. That's just incredible. So so
Maybe seeing yourself distracts you, so the universe shut it off so you could just
that's
talk.
fine with me. I just want to make sure I'm not, I'm talking and like I'm not even there or something.
No, we hear you.
So okay, so now going to this 2017 point where we have this opening door of the major sign in this country where this solar, because it's a total solar eclipse in Leo. Leo's a fire sign, okay? So now the interesting thing is that we're having this conversation right now. Whoever's out there, you're tuned in right now, um, in this window. What we're in is the eye of this pyramid because the end of this eclipse cycle is going to be in 2020, April of 2024 in Aries. And the very dead center was this eclipse we just had on the new moon on the 14th in Sagittarius at 23 degrees. And that is the eye of a fire pyramid. And the word pyramid, it literally is pyre, which is fire, amid. And the
So,
eye, the very center of that, is the eye of the pyramid, which is why I believe it's on the dollar.
right?
This is how powerful this time is. Because I'm certainly not the only astrologer. They have great astrologers going on, knowing these times are coming, and they line everything up to the times and astrologically and so forth. So this is the very eye, and what we've done. And I didn't know when I wrote about all this in 2013 that on the 14th I knew it was the eye, but I didn't know that was the day of the electoral vote. So we've literally chosen our path through that 14th eye, and we're still in that window, that fire amid, that pyre, the eye of that pyramid,
Right.
right?
So what is, can we let's translate that
Yeah.
into what does that mean for, what does that mean to the general listener here who doesn't know anything about what that symbolism
Okay.
means?
Okay.
So
So
how does, so yes, so this eye, this opportunity, this thing
mhm,
overseeing
exactly. So
is watching humanity come
right,
to this place
right.
where we're going to have to decide and
We
choose.
are choosing
We are
exactly right
choosing
now.
exactly, and what,
Mm-hmm.
and hopefully, again, through all this awakening,
Mm-hmm.
the people are waking up to see how disconnected and how important people and things are, because with the pandemic, with all of these things, it's been forcing people into a lot of really awareness about what truly is important in their lives,
Mm.
and why, and what they need to do to pursue those things. So
Okay.
that
Okay.
astrology. So go ahead. So what does that mean going forward between now and, you know, what's going to happen on Monday?
Okay. So let's just a little bit, one other little thing I want to add is that so that on January 12th of this year, we had Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto, and the Sun and the Moon, all and Venus and Mercury all line up in Capricorn. And Capricorn is that pyramid, that mountain. And the Capricorn will structure its L, okay? L, if you make an L with your arm or anything, you'll see that's a 90-degree angle, and L is the God of the Old Testament out of Egypt. L is God. Element is God mind. So the cross with those four 90-degree angles is earth, air, fire, and water, the elements, the God mind. So they all lined up in this, and it also rules structure, power, government, and discipline, restriction, so forth. And then Pluto, which is in going into this planet of death and resurrection, going into this all. So we knew this was going to be Pan, because Pan is the ruler of Capricorn, and so that's pandemic, pandemonium, but also panacea. And
Yes.
so we had this pandemic. But what also happened? So it's 2020. So you have a 0 and a 2 and a 0 and a 2. And then on 12/21/2020 at 1:20 p.m., we have Saturn and Jupiter, which have been through that Capricorn, and Saturn ruling. Saturn is the last of the inner planets. So it's the Lord of the Rings, that ringed planet, that discipline. It rings us or reins us in. And being as it's L as well, the god, the sort of a baby god down here of what is structure and discipline. And once you learn to be your own discipline, your own king, your own manager, then you can create your own freedom. And if you have too much freedom, the universe will discipline you.
Yes.
So what's happening in this whole 2020, and then on 12/21/2020, you see we have all these 0 1 0 1 2 1 2 1. These are all 0 1 0 1 is coding on the computer. It's a binary equation. And when we introduce this 2020, 2020, 0 is always God, spirit coming in, or magnifier, right? And
Yes.
so when we bring this in as the 2, what's happening is of someone that is choosing the eagle to rise up. What happens when you climb that mountain of Saturn, that apex, this summit? And on the summit is the crown. And what are we dealing with? The corona, which is the crown virus. All over the planet, we are going through a mass ritual together.
Yes.
It
So
has leveled this playing field, but given us the vicissitude, this to see with this new perspective, as we've all been awakened to see and participate. Look how people are all of a sudden paying attention. 2020 vision.
which is hilarious because I had my eye surgery this year. I was legally blind until I had those implants put in.
Oh my
And
goodness.
so I actually did clear up my vision this year. I mean, on my human level, I've always had my spiritual eyes 2020, but my physical
and
eyes.
you know
were
what?
not.
That's awesome. And the other thing about that is then that's the pupil, right? So
Mhm.
your pupil, which gets larger in the darkness to absorb more light, is the pupil, is the student.
Right.
And so the darkness that we've all experienced has made us better, larger pupils. We're paying attention and learning, because it isn't the sweet little, nice little dream that we're, cruising along on the boat, having a nice old time. It's the nightmare that wakes us up.
Right. So that's what we always, so
Sleep,
hearing that from that perspective, so this is people, what I talk about when I talk about the destruction before the construction. We can't create and build on rubble. We have to, so again, waking up is like waking up going, who blew my house down? Okay. And now the student part of it is cleaning up the mess that was left, and where did that come from and how did that get here? And so we're decluttering our life and all these paradigms that we've been taught to believe that aren't working. And so this awakening is always preceded by destruction of the things that aren't working, the things that we need to notice. And so we're going to do two things. Once you clear that debris away, now you get a higher vision of the land so that you can choose what it is you really want to rebuild back in that space. This isn't just happening for people. This isn't just happening for people individually. Okay, Gloria went away. Oh, she's back. So this isn't just happening for people
Yeah, I think I am.
You're back.
All right,
So
right.
this, can you see us now?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Can
So
you hear
this
me?
isn't just happening, these destructive things, these paradigms. So a
Right.
paradigm is a way of doing things. Um, and so whether it's our personal life, religion, culture,
Mhm.
society, family dynamics, all these things are being questioned right now. They're being,
Right.
that's what this is, bringing up all the parts that
Right.
are dysfunctional. And so we have to sort through that and decide what do we, who are we? What do we really want to create? And how do we then serve out in our world to help facilitate this shift out there as well? So the astrology is backing up exactly physically what the experiences that we're having right now.
It's
And the thing
necessary.
about astrologers, like for instance, I've been preaching this sermon since, since I got my first communication. However, on December 21st of 2012 was the end of that Mayan calendar. And it was, the beginnings of this time of, um, order. So like Gloria's talking about in 2017, what she's saying is, so Capricorns, and so this is just the dummy version. Okay.
Major, big deal for all the cardinal signs. So that's Capricorn, Aries, Libra, and Cancers. All of those signs have been major shifting, changing, and it's a corona. So you can't crown, you can't reach the top of something when the ground is being taken out because it's not been built on solid rock.
Right. So those things are coming away that we're climbing, we're making this
Right.
ascent to that vista. And frankly, we always talk about Capricorns like things to add up. Capricorn is a very rigid sign when it comes to order of things and things adding
Right.
up. And that's why my Capricorn friends get wigged out when things don't add up.
That's right.
That's why they really don't like people, because people don't add up. Okay, so it's funny, but it's not. But we need this
Right.
order in our astrology
Right.
to wake up these petulant children who've been running with scissors, and they've
Right.
got to get disciplined. And so we're in a time of all of us learning new disciplines, new ways
That's
to
true.
be
That's Saturn.
accountable.
Saturn's teaching us the discipline, and if you can't discipline and order, and that it brings reward, it brings
Order brings peace.
freedom. It does. You can, but peace can bring chaos. So it's literally order out of chaos, which is also on the dollar.
Okay, I
So
can't
it's
go into
all
that
part.
right now. Okay, that'll make my brain explode. So yes, you're absolutely right. So
And then it's the Corona 19. And then, so you have a 1, which is a magician card in the tarot, and the 9, which is the hermit. And we've all been we've all had to become hermits. And what does the hermit carry? He's got the lantern. He's got the lantern because he had to go inside to find your own light. You have to, it's not out there. There's no leader out there. It's inside. This is
right.
all about us finding our own mastery. This is, we're in a crowning. So this is your crown chakra. This isn't, you can't get a master's degree. We're all in our own, getting our own master's degree to
Right.
some level. And you can't get that if you're going, well, I don't know, what do you think? Well, I don't know, what do you think I should do? It's all about going inside and trusting that you came here, that you have a purpose yourself. Go inside to get that. And you know what? That could be that you are a great cashier. And when people come in, your smile and the way you talk to them changes their whole world for that day. It doesn't mean everybody is some celebrity or something.
Well, or everybody's going to be, some kind of a psychic light worker. Okay. The
Right.
challenge is that as we're all awakening, people,
Yeah.
we're all awakening wherever we're planted. Okay. So you're planted in your world. I'm planted in my world. Gloria's
Right.
over there. And we're all doing the same work through our talent in whatever arena we're being called to. So if
Right.
you're a nurse, if you're a doctor, if you're a police officer, we're all awakening.
Okay.
And we're this is why the village, and this is why staying connected to those other lights that are awakening is so important, because that way you don't feel like you're losing your shit. Okay, you are losing your shit, and it's not a
No,
bad thing.
that's a done deal. That's check. Okay, done.
Right. So now that we're awakening, 'cause like I always say, Gloria, it's like waking up in public square naked, wondering how the hell you got there, and people are yelling at you. So yes,
Okay, I thought we
but
were going to be bringing that up.
I know, right? So what we're doing, I know, right? We're going to talk about that part of our life. Because trust me, Gloria and I have had we've all had awakenings, guys. This is why we do this work, is because we have done it.
Right,
And we know we have more tools than most people do. And we're here to just share our tools with you so that you can
right,
find your way through this. But we're awakening is always forcing us into truth. And you're not going to like it. And how did we get here? How do we create it? And now I'm here, Gloria's here to help you uncreate it and how to
right,
clear that road so that we can change this world. So when you change you and you change you and I change me, that's three of us
right,
creating a bigger ripple out there. And
right.
so everybody's, fear. Oh my God, Gloria, I swear, I wish if I could have a fire extinguisher to put out one thing, it would be fear. Illusionary fear. There
Yeah,
are things to truly
yeah.
be,
Illusion.
fight or flight
Well,
fear.
that's
But
Neptune
then,
right now, honey. That's Neptune in Pisces, which is rulership. And we're at the end of the age of Pisces. And Pisces is, Neptune is the sea, the water. And we all come from water. The Genesis, God separates the waters from the waters. And when I even talk about the planets, it's waves and motions because it's water. Everything is liquid. Even when I died, it was all like liquid. So, and then you could see those waves literally rippling and moving, and just like we're in water. If you look at trees on a certain day, you can see them move just as if they're in water, because everything is literally in water. So what's happening right now is with the end of this age, you have all these other illusions and delusions happening, and then people have these lucid moments, just like a dream, waking up.
right.
Neptune does real dreams as well, and it was drugs and rock
Well,
videos
and
and
that's my ruling
music
planet.
and so forth.
So
And
I'm very good with that fluidity. Okay.
right,
I
that's right. It's a
I'm
conductor.
good with
I mean,
I'm
water
good
is
with
a
swirly and
conductor.
wonky, and that's my power place.
It's
The
also the
rigidity of
thinnest
this.
of the walls. Neptune, the house of the 12th house, Pisces, has the thinnest walls. Okay, so sometimes a Pisces has to they're like busy trying to make a wall because they don't have a wall. But it's
Exactly.
also because of that thin wall, that's how you can go in between and in betwixt and in between.
I'm very good
Because,
at that. And I've learned to master that at this
yeah,
point, to be able to ride those waves of energy, to navigate those places, and it doesn't really affect me the way it does other people, because I do operate in that other reality more
hmm
of the time than not. And
hmm
now that I'm older and understand the responsibility that comes with that as well, and learn, because being accountable for a Pisces is one of the hardest lessons there is in this whole karmic journey, is learning about time,
right.
responsibility, accountability. Those things are so difficult
All
because,
those things are ruled by Saturn, Capricorn.
oh my God.
Time. Saturn is time. It's the hourglass.
So that's
It's
my
the
nemesis. But
fickle.
again, in my world, there's a different time. There's a different sense of time in where I come from.
Where I
And
come from.
so, yeah, so again, there's these balances in this. So I want to get to, Gloria, about what's going on astrologically for most of the world. Let me finish with fear. So
Right.
the problem is people don't have a lot of resources. They don't have any elders, serious elders in their lives who are giving them guidance or wisdom. They're not raised, we're in a very disconnected society.
hmm
We don't have ancestral ties. We don't have healthy familial ties. Our communities are disconnected. So people are very easily afraid of things because they've been kind of conditioned to be consumers and to be, that these things are what make me happy. Things make me happy, or if I'm
Right.
wearing the brand, or if I'm, and so we haven't really learned about that. So that's what's happening now, is people are finding out what's really important in their life.
That's right.
And so this illusionary fear um is the absence of faith. Okay, so again, when we have the spiritual perspective and we have these understandings, it brings you a level of comfort and peace to know that there is something bigger at work here,
Mhm.
and trusting that, learning how to trust that divine inner voice, these signs and signals. So this is what we've been doing all these years, is giving you tools of discernment so that you know how to navigate when these things happen. And so that you don't feel lost and afraid, because fear reacts. Faith responds. I don't freak out. There's no reason to freak out anymore, right, Gloria? There's nothing to freak out about. Once you have that level of understanding, um, life gets a lot, and you don't complicate your life with chaos, and you create peace in your life, then there's very little to fear. There's less to fear. But the problem is most people are awakening thinking this was their reality, and now that's just not there anymore. And so they're afraid of the astrology. Okay, they're afraid of astrology. So again, ignorance breeds fear,
Mhm.
and fear seeks to destroy. Okay, so what you don't understand, you fear. Even it's just ignorance, people. Okay, you're just ignorant. We're here to educate you so that you know you have resources and tools and things to work with. So fear is not an option. Fear
And
makes very
ignorant
bad
just means,
choices.
that's not a slam. Ignorant means that you just don't know yet. It doesn't mean you
Correct.
won't know.
It's just
You're
lack of
capable of
information.
learning. It's not, some people think it means you're stupid. It doesn't mean that. It
No,
means
I
you're
always
just not
joke.
aware of something yet. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So, like I always say, this isn't about having some brain injury that causes you to have trouble. Ignorance is just lack of information. No one
Mhm.
showed you, no one told you. I've done a lot of things in my ignorance, but now we have a responsibility, the ability to respond.
That's
The
right.
responsibility is on you to educate yourself, to cure your own ignorance, to look things up, to educate yourselves. Because the more you know, the less you fear. The more experiences you have, the less fear you have in doing new things or stepping out of your comfort zone. And so that's what we're here to do. So don't be afraid of this information. So people instantly go to the worst things, because they were raised by a lot of fear mongering religious folks. God is judgmental, God is punishing, God is, whatever. We're not here to be punished, people. We choose suffering. Okay, we choose that. And so we don't have to suffer. We can choose better. And suffering is just doing the same thing over and over again. And so what we're doing tonight is we're going to give you some information that's going to help you really not be so afraid. So the astrology is going to happen anyway, whether you know about it or not. People get affected by it. This is why we were having a hard time sleeping. This is why we're not dreaming, well, or
Yeah.
we're getting crazy dreams. I've not been sleeping right at all because we've had the new moon, the eclipse, all these things. I mean, I'm getting maybe 3 or 4 hours sleep a night, if that.
That would be
And everybody's like, something's wrong with me. No, that's not wrong with you. That's the influence of these heavenly bodies on this human bag of water that you live
That's
in,
why I use my
calling about
sleeping pill from Archangel.
your meat suit.
The
Right.
sleeping pill. Then you just roll it on your feet, girl. You'll sleep, and you will be
Oh,
dreaming and journaling your dreams and good stuff. Could be
well, and that's a whole nother, right. So there are other tools that we
There
use
are,
to,
yeah,
yes. So
meditation.
I'm an herbalist. I don't want to go there tonight because too much information gets them. But there
For sure.
are things that we can do to sleep better in these times, or utilize this time to dream better, to get those
Right.
answers from the other side in
Right.
dream time.
It's powerful
You know,
dream, and they're trying to tell us, and they're literally giving us the instructions.
right?
So I forget who said this, but they said that an unexamined dream is like an unopened letter from God.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Well, but
it
people don't know.
really is.
So I'm putting classes on the books. I actually have a dream interpretation class coming up where we talk all about sleep. We talk all about how to dream better, how to get the message out of that dream time. I lucid dream, so I actually am conscious when I'm in my dream sequence. So I know I'm somewhere else. I know this is a
Yeah,
message.
right. Me
Girl,
too.
I'm like, don't forget this, Marianne. You got to write this down when you wake up. I say that in my dream.
Sometimes I
Oh
go,
my God,
now I
what the
go,
hell?
no, wake up, Gloria. You are not actually going to remember this. And sometimes for me, what happens is uh, things that will get out of place, and I realize this is how they're making me lucid. Is I go, wait a minute, this isn't right. And then the next thing I know, wait, I'm dreaming. And then I start, waking up,
Right. Then you
I'm like, wait a minute, am I dreaming? I'm start hitting myself in my dream and stuff to go, wait, I think I'm dreaming. Let me see. Does this hurt?
right.
You know?
I was in a dream. Well, it wasn't really a dream. It was more of an out of body experience, but it was in a dream sequence. And I knew that I was not in my body and I knew that I was asleep, but I couldn't wake up. And so I would go over to the lamp. And if I couldn't turn the lamp on, I wasn't back.
Oh, that's groovy. That's a good little tell.
Yeah. And so I said, okay, I'll just get back in the bed and I'll get back in the bed and start over, kind of thing. I'll get back in the bed and I'll wake up. I get back in the bed, I roll over, I turn the light, it won't come on. I'm like, oh shit, I'm still here, So again, dream time is a wonderful thing, and it's where we go backstage to kind of get insight how to live this human life. And so, like Gloria said, these are it's like going backstage for a minute without your body and getting a chance to find out the backstory, but it's all symbolic. It's all in a movie way, and so we have to learn how to decipher that, and that's what the dream class is about. So the people so I'm going to tell you, people are afraid of these. Anytime we use the terminology coming together, like lining up, like everything will line up. Okay
When
guys,
the planets collide in space and they smack into Earth, you mean?
well, that's what they think. So okay guys, so do you have a visual? I'm going to have to do a little visual real quick. Okay, keep people. So we have a solar system, and all these planets are in an orbit millions and millions of miles apart.
Mm-hmm.
Millions of miles apart. So
just like we are, just like the moon circles us, and we're circling the sun. Exactly.
Right. This is the sun. Okay. Right. And then this is Mars.
Right.
Venus. Mercury. Then Earth. Anyway, they're in these big orbits. So what's happening, okay, is this. These planets are usually like here and there and all over the place, okay? But right now, they're going to be doing this. They're going to be lining up so that from Earth, they're all in a line. So tell them about what's happening Monday.
So then on Monday, what's going to happen is the planet Saturn and Jupiter, which have not been in Aquarius since 1405, and they haven't been this close of a conjunction since 1623, are going to be aligned in such a way that you can perceive them as just a much larger star. So we call this, some people are calling it the Star of Bethlehem, the Star of Nazareth, because they're going to look as if they're combined together and just look like one great big star and light in the sky. And that fusion of energy will be at 00 Aquarius, which means it's a great reset. This is the perfect time for all of us with Saturn, which is conjunction, control, structure in structuring Jupiter, which is Zeus, another name, and he expands everything, okay? And he's also, jovial. By Jove, I think I've got it. So it's happiness and expansion. And so there's going to be this structure on joy and largesse, good things, okay? But this time we're learning to go, okay, but we have to do this with a container. We can't just all be all way the heck out there spiritually, because we're now then become more enlightenment, mind, and lighting up the mind to see, like Marianne has been saying, what we didn't see before. So you don't have to be afraid necessarily of this, but if everybody is wherever you're at, okay? You can't just force yourself to be somewhere.
Exactly.
Anyway, they're going to line up, and then they're going to that structure. With that in Aquarius at 0, this is a brand new cycle, an epoch for all of us, even in our lifetimes. We have spent lifetimes to come to this particular time right now. And because what we've just done now, 29, Saturn was at 29 degrees, it's now in Aquarius. Jupiter is still at 29 degrees, which we call an anaretic degree in Capricorn before it moves into Aquarius tomorrow. And what that means is you got to remember Capricorn is the mountain. And so if you're a mountain climber, or have you ever seen a goat climbing a mountain, it's like,
Defies gravity.
how the heck is getting up there, right? But if you're climbing a mountain, even they have to just, even though there could be just a little bit left and they'll get to that summit, they have to sit down and catch their breath, maybe even take some oxygen. And at that end, it's like a squeegee, that anaretic degree, because it's like, did you get this done? Are you ready? Do you have this? Do you have that? Trust and believe that by the time this all comes together, your soul has already guided you, except you're here even listening to this. So of course you've gotten to this place where you're ready to hear this. You have prepared. You're far more prepared than maybe you think you are, but you're ready. And at this point, we're hitting that peak, and then we go into the first real wave of the age of Aquarius, which we're not in the age of Aquarius really officially until 2026, after Neptune leaves Pisces, its rulership. But it's a wave. Like I just said, it's all water. And so that water is going to bring us that first wave. Like, just think of being on a wave and going onto the shore, right? And that's the water bearer. Aquarius, it's an air sign, but it's a water bearer. Why? Because it's pouring out all that stuff from Pisces, all that watery world that we've all been in with this illusion, onto dry land, to see what we clearly, to clearly see things, to clearly hear things, not be submerged underwater anymore. And it's Uranus, which Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, which rules the internet and the computer. And so this is all we're going to see. And while Uranus is in Taurus, and they're going to be squaring Uranus in Taurus, Jupiter and Saturn. So that's Earth, Taurus, as I have. And so everything, just like Marianne's been saying it's really, did you really need that? What is their priority about what you need now? What are you working to live, or are you living to work?
Absolutely.
Right? So it's about getting your priorities, prioritizing, and starting at that new reset, that the whole of the galaxy has conspired with you,
right,
to push you onto this new shore, this new earth, literally. And behold, I saw a new earth, for the former one had passed away. Well, that's what we're going into right now. 2020 is the judgment card, and we're going into 21, which is the world. We're picking it. The whole world is at our feet. We've just had to have this the ground level, so that we go, oh my gosh, if you're sick, I could get sick, and I could get you sick, no matter how rich you are. It doesn't matter, because that unseen virus, it doesn't care. And that's how we have to, it's acclimating us to go, it doesn't really matter. What matters is what's in your heart. And did you help me? Did you care? Did I care about you? Those are the things, those heart chords, because heart is earth. It's an anagram for earth. And we are just, that whole alignment is aligning right through our heart, our crown, corona chakra, right? Into the earth, through the universe, into the ring of Saturn. Okay? We're literally threading the ring. Saturn is that ring. This is why you wear a ring when you get married. It's why they kiss the ring on a pope, or that's Saturn. He's the Lord of the Rings there. He's the little baby god down here. And so those are two titans, those, Saturn and Jupiter. And lining up like that is just to infuse us with the ability to structure. And tell me you have not all been through a whole lot of restructuring. What you thought you knew, what you thought you believed, the universe said, oh, isn't that hysterical? Whoosh.
Right. Well, I was joking about that because,
Right?
like 10 years, 20 years ago when we were in corporate, there is no way in hell they would let you work from home. Okay.
Oh, right.
So here we are, and we're
What are
finding,
those slippers
again,
you got on your feet?
I know, right? So, because that was just the way we did it forever. Well, now that we've got these new challenges, it hasn't really just brought up awful things. It's really had us reinventing how we do what we do more
Right.
efficiently. Again, right?
Right.
More efficiently.
Good at,
Right. This doesn't make
and
sense.
that
It's
you
not about
are
power.
good at it, and that where people might have thought, I can't do it, or that's not what I can do, and then you've come to find out, yes, you can.
Right.
You can do a lot more than you thought you could do.
Change. Right. And we always joke about that. I always say it's like Gloria Steinem says, the truth will, set you free, but first it will piss you off. When you realize that you're ignorant, that's a bad day, people. When you realize that your way sucks
Right.
and you've been ignorant and didn't know it,
Right.
okay, that day kind of sucks. Okay. But here we are going, okay, you just threw up on your shoes. We're going to help you get back on the
Right.
road and feel better. I mean, we all throw up on our shoes and we all
Right.
wake up and realize that we suck and we did dumb stuff, but we
Right.
didn't know any better. But now we are
As
learning, and so
humans.
that's what we're here to do. Gloria, you haven't done anything that's stupid in this lifetime, have you? I mean,
Oh,
I
just
know,
about 40 million things or so.
right? Oh my
But I'm
God,
not, I'm Jesus. That's why Jesus is walking on the water, because he's above the illusion
right?
of Pisces, Neptune. We're all in the water, and we can what you end up doing is becoming a good deep sea diver to get those pearls and the
Right.
ability to see underwater. Remember, as kids, you'd play the little tea in the pool,
Yes.
and everybody sit down, and the lifeguards going, get up, I think you're drowning. But tea party, and you're learning how to have uh, see underwater. And then how many fingers am I holding up? And all the little games we played, are going to deep sea diving, and throw
I used
some.
to pretend I was a mermaid.
Yeah, right. Well, you're
Okay, now I'm
surrounded.
not the weird
We're
kid. I
playing
was always the
Pisces,
weird kid.
so you know.
So that's the cool thing about this, guys. Okay, so this is happening for our benefit. Okay. And for those of us who've been doing all this like work and clearing our road and making room for new things in our lives, in
Making the
our
road.
thinking, in our physical world, in our emotional world, the more that we clean out these things, the more ready we are when these opportunities show up. So
Right.
this is a Monday, which is solstice. It's also solstice. Isn't this happening Monday, or is it happening tomorrow?
Yes, it's Monday, and you're right. It's going to happen if the solstice happens, and just a few hours after that we have this alignment, which is, so then the solstice, is an equal, it's this between, excuse me, not equal. It's the right on the where the sun is the lowest on the horizon, and
Right.
where
The
we
days start to get longer
and
after that.
light just starts to come back. The days get longer, which is always a beautiful thing.
Yes.
Because it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's pitch black outside. So
Well, and
so
it's also a time of
that's
hibernation. So we have this seasonal shift. We've got
it's in
this lunar
between.
this alignment going on.
Yeah,
We're still in the new moon, okay,
right,
which is a time of darkness. And
right,
this is a time of really going within.
right,
And the beauty of like even solstice is that there is a promise of the sun to return. And that's
okay,
why in earth-based religions, we stay awake all night and welcome the sun
right,
as it returns that next morning. We stay up all night
yeah,
waiting for that,
right,
in hope and joy and, peace. And so everything's
right,
hibernating. Everything's not dead. It's resting. It's underground, preparing for spring. And so we've
right.
got all these wonderful add-ons that are happening this solstice with the planetary alignment,
Mm-hmm.
something that's not happened in 800 years.
Right,
And we are the generation, those of us that are alive today, are those light bearers. We are the ones that are being opened to receive this. And like Gloria said, if you're following me and you're on here, you're already awakening.
right,
Okay. You might think you're stupid and don't know what you're doing. Okay. You're not stupid. You're ignorant. And you're not too ignorant, or you wouldn't have jumped on this bandwagon and listened to this tonight or any of my podcasts. It's just that people are so afraid to let go of what's familiar, that they're afraid to step into some of those new ideas or new ways of thinking. And again, it's like something that's hot. Well, you know, it's hot and it's going to get hotter unless you let go of it. Okay. And that's really basically where we are. And so Even a rat knows when to get off a sinking ship, people. Okay, so this is wonderful stuff. This is only going to boost whatever you've already done, boost whatever you're doing. Now, if you're still in denial and go back to sleep, this will cause you probably some discomfort, right, Gloria,
Right.
in
Well,
refusing to acknowledge the change.
I think it can have discomfort regardless because it's a when you're those 29 degrees and finishing things up, and even though, like I said, the best analogy is to think about that mountain climber, how awesome he's climbed all that way. Okay, he's and almost fallen a couple of times, and he's rappelling up, and he's getting his little spikes in there, and you see him hanging, sleeping on the side of a mountain, all that stuff, which I could never do.
No,
But
me either.
then even still, they have to take a break, even though it's right there. They might just a little bit more. They still may have to sit down, get some oxygen, and take a break, and it is difficult. It is
Yes,
difficult to reach that summit. If any sort of sport you've ever done, any of us, how you're running that marathon, and it's like, oh my gosh, you just have those, that last mile can be whoa, but you
right.
do it, and any work you do, but you finish it, and then you feel so. It's amazing how good you feel when you finish a difficult task, a difficult journey, and you go, oh my God, I'm here. Just like you're up on that mountain, you go, whoo, look at
Look at
that,
the view from here.
look at them clouds down there. Look at them little things down there.
So this is very challenging times, and it is bringing up all of our our nitty gritty unfinished stuff. And so I know some of you guys have really just cleared that closet, and you've been doing
Right.
such a great job. And this is just the finite details that we're dealing with. And again, and if you're just starting this and you need a game plan, give me a call, give Gloria a call. Get yourself charted so you can see what you're coming up against. And like I said, it's this kind of information. This is very simple. Spirituality is actually very simple. It's so simple. Everybody makes it so hard. It's not about like Christianity where there's a million rules. And I mean, that's not how this really works. Less is more in this life. And spiritually speaking, it's between you and that divinity. And all that's in between us is our things that we don't know. I mean, like our ignorant belief structures. So, we're all learning here, guys. And I'm so proud of all of you. You guys have done a
Yeah.
great job. But
Yeah.
I'm very grateful. So what is there any ritual, Gloria, that we can do coming on well, other than, so again, I'm going to post some things about solstice. But what would you be doing at this time of the year, given this phenomenon
Well,
that we're facing?
definitely lighting candles, so some people have the menorah, you know,
Hmm.
and you can and light those candles, right? But any candles, and especially on that day, you're going to want to light candles. If you can plant something inside so that it can grow, obviously, and have whatever it is that you have a new idea, a new plan. So you want to get that formulated as best you can, even if it's rough, a new brochure, an outline for how you're going to proceed forward, because Saturn is structure. It wants a step-by-step guiding of how that's going to take place, just like you're writing a business plan, and you're
Exactly.
going to have to go to the bank. Even if you're not going to the bank, you want to write that all out and then light that candle. And I personally, have my own prayers I say, and so forth, but just and tap into wherever Saturn is in your chart. So it's going to be in your first, second, any one of these houses, okay? And by that, so if you just know your chart, you can even just go on Astrologer and get that done free. So just look at those houses, and that's where the universe, you have uh, drawn up your being in this world right now with the universe to be in that section and structuring what you're bringing joy to, what you are bringing a largesse to, what you're bringing your teaching and what you've learned. So whatever you have been, it's it's a crowning. So it's whatever you have been doing and doing and doing, and now you're somewhat of an expert. And if you're not that, and you're just starting over at something, then because if you're in a boat and you turn just even a degree, you're going to end up at a very different place on the shore, on the other side. So know that too. So don't feel like, oh my God, I have no idea what I'm going to do. It's not that. I don't want you to feel overwhelmed like that either, because I don't want you to feel like it's wrong. Wherever you're at, just go in and ask before you go to sleep. Ask for guidance before you go to sleep. But believe me, God, your angels will tell you this. And if you
Hmm.
really don't know, then reach out for that guidance. Marianne's there. There are people that can help you to just maybe just reorient you, maybe just point some things out. Because sometimes when you can't see the forest for the trees for yourself, you can't see it, and many times people don't have the belief in themselves. They don't know how amazing they are. And you ask somebody else, like I've seen on Facebook, where some, what do you, when you think of me, what do you think of me?
Right.
What one thing do you remember of
You
me?
think of,
What is
right.
what, and people will be amazed that, oh my God, you think that about me? Oh my gosh, I didn't know that. So there's
Well, it's kind
all
of
the
like,
different ways to just begin anew, even if it's something like I said, you're crowning. Or so if you think of it, you've just got your master's degree, and now you're going to teach a college class or something, and the class is new, but you're now mastering something to be able to teach it. So it's going to be new things, or a new way, or a whole new wave of audience or people or perspective, or new people that now know or see you that didn't perhaps see you before, because Saturn is that mountain. We've gone all the way up that mountain now in
right.
Capricorn all year.
So
So
what,
now people can see you.
so
So
now if you look back, people, over the last, let's say, year or two of your life, and you can see this as sort of an education. What did you learn about yourself? What did you
that's
learn
right.
about other people? And we're really, again, you have to acknowledge your growth. You have made a lot of growth during that time. And
Right.
so when you sit there, you say, I learned that chaos sucks. I learned that I need to be more accountable in my life, and
Hmm.
I want to create peace. That is exactly what Gloria is talking about. Even if it's that basic, okay?
Exactly.
It's that basic. Now, if you've come further and you've had more awarenesses, or you are going to be fine tuning, okay, again, if you're simply just acknowledge the growth, that you're willing to continue growing, and this is the energy that we want to put out into the universe. Now's the time. Okay, so it's about gratefully
Right.
understanding why we've been where we've been. We've all had a lot of amazing
Right.
awarenesses. We've all also had a lot of awful awarenesses. And so again, I'm making a commitment to me, I'm making a commitment to the universe, that I'm going to continue growing, and this is my intention. And that's
Mm,
really what we're doing on Monday then, is creating,
that's
thank
right. You're exactly right. And
you,
you can even, I'll take salt and sprinkle that around and sweep that up and
mhm,
get rid of it and
right,
cleanse the house and protect it. Um, and then the other thing is, because it's putting order to something, and some people can be so overwhelmed, especially because Saturn does have its hand and Pluto in depression.
right,
So, and depression is something depressed. It's trapped information. And if you know anybody that's, I've experienced it. I know, I've had friends I've worked through depressions with, and
mhm,
the things pile up, and you can always tell because the house is a mess.
right,
And so just don't think, oh my God, I got to get all this done. Just take one drawer,
right.
organize it, organize on a piece of paper, write a list, okay, and do one thing. You don't have to do everything on the list. Do one thing, and then congratulate yourself for that one thing, and
Yep,
then take another step. And so this is another ritual to do, is to make a path and to make a step, and be saying, like there's labyrinths and so forth. That's the same kind of idea, because it's an organized uh, circles of life. Those are actually to me, that's planets.
Well, we're creating new habits. We're creating new awarenesses. So they're going to take,
Right.
again, with
Be
any
disciplined.
discipline, it's
Be
got to be
disciplined.
consistency.
Right.
Okay. So it's not about how much you do, it's that you do it consistently. Okay. So, like Gloria said, one drawer every day, one something every day
Right.
is going to be setting that new pattern in your, not only in your brain, but in our energy in our house.
Right.
And that vibration is going straight to the universe, going, she's ready, she's worthy, she's making the changes necessary to pursue those things. Like I said, honey, sometimes it's inches or miles, okay, but
Right.
we're still moving
That's true.
forward. That's all that matters, is you keep
Right.
moving. Okay, we do have to rest along the way. Sometimes you run, sometimes you sprint, sometimes you just walk,
Right.
sometimes you crawl, okay, but we're moving. And when you don't have the energy, you align with people who can fill you and lift you to give you the strength to keep climbing, to keep doing that work. So we've got a wonderful opportunity here to put our money where our mouth is. Okay, so if you, Monday is when we prove it to the universe that we not only want things, but we're willing to pursue them, that we're willing to
Right.
be disciplined enough to accept that new responsibility, those new wonderful things that are coming.
Right.
And again, if people have been purging this whole time, Gloria. I mean, oh my God.
No kidding.
I mean, my
And then,
God. You know what's funny? People have so
What?
much useless shit. Even the Goodwill won't even take it all anymore.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, people
I'm
have
glad to
so
hear
much
that.
stuff that there's nowhere to take it to.
Wow. Well,
Yeah,
there's
I mean, there are places, okay, but like it's really funny because like clothing, okay, people have way too many clothes, okay,
Yes, yes.
to the point where, and it's all style sensitive. So even if you take it, the clothes, there's so many clothes that they absolutely cannot sell it all or give it away. So they literally grind it up. They sell it, recycle it, and then no, really, it's sick how addicted we've been to consumerism.
It's
And
true.
it does not,
It's true.
like I tell people, Gloria, I've never seen a hearse dragging a U-Haul. Okay. You can't
No,
take it with you. And once you're there, you don't really care about it anyway. So, less is more, people. That's how this works. The less you have, the more you have, actually. The more room we have to create.
Well, the more freedom you have.
Absolutely. There's a huge freedom with simplicity. So
Mhm.
anyway, Gloria, I'm so grateful for you tonight. I'm telling you, Gloria knows more about astrology than I'll ever. I mean, like she's forgot more than I'll ever know. So I'm just so grateful to her. Now, Gloria does do forecasts and charts and readings that way, astrologically speaking. So if you're really interested in more, I'm going to put Gloria's information in the notes here. So Gloria's website is Ancient, ancient.com. Gloria you'll see all the wonderful things that she does. And like me, I'm an herbalist. I had an urban tea store. I'm currently not doing that work, but will be, some of it anyway. And so again, we're both crones. We're both people who, we've lived this life. We've walked this road. We know what's going on. And you get that really cool wisdom that comes with that. We don't sweat the small stuff really anymore. Right? Gloria?
I think sometimes I might.
Oh, okay, we do.
But
But
I
not
don't.
like we used to.
You know what? The thing I know that life happens and it's not predictable, even though you can put it out there and walk your walk and so forth. I just know that I've had the universe ask me to do so many things at this point that who knows, right? Who knows? And so I'm just trying to be grateful. I am actually grateful, very, very
Absolutely.
grateful. I'm grateful that I'm at this place in my life, that it is relatively nice and lovely, and I don't want to, put something out there and jinx it. Just want. I guess it's the Irish and the Catholic Irish.
Oh, I know, right?
Get rid of it,
You can take the girl out of the country, but you can't take the country out of the
Right.
girl.
As my mom was one time where we come out of the bingo thing and with my mom and and it's just a gorgeous, beautiful blue sky. We're go, oh, look how beautiful it is out. Yeah, but my mom will say, yeah, but the clouds will be coming.
Right?
So
just shit on my parade. I mean,
right? But so that to be
my mother was like that too.
And she buried a couple of kids. So
right.
Enough, at this point, things happen. And how will I be when that happens? I don't know. Because, there's a lot I've had to handle this year. My own life personally has been nice, lovely actually. Um, but there's just so many people around me and very dear and near to me that some I've lost,
Mm-hmm.
some that are not, they're not well. And
Mm-hmm.
that's sad. And even though I've, had near death experiences and come back and I know that we're eternal beings, it doesn't mean I won't and other people don't miss people in this physical world and that
Right.
heart's not attached. I know I'll see them again. It still hurts. So,
Absolutely. And we're,
you
and
know,
we're here to be human. And if we
right.
lose that ability to feel, then, we lose
Yeah,
compassion and so many other
right.
things.
Yeah.
And we are here to be human. And trust me, people, I cry. I cry.
Oh, yeah.
I cry. I'm a Pisces. That's all I do is cry.
Yeah. Sensitive,
But you can't
hypersensitive.
work with people and stand in their pain and not feel it.
Well,
I mean, as much as I can do that,
the
trust me,
word,
when I'm
the
done,
word
I have to
passion,
release that.
pathos. Word, the word pathos is pain in Greek, and it's the root of the word passion. And most I have from doing people's charts and for 40 years now and so forth. I know that people carry their cross. We all have them. There's three crosses in astrology: cardinal, fixed, and mutable. And we've been through so many really hard crosses this year, and people literally can, fall with their cross. They die on that cross. We just have to get to the other side where we roll away that stone which is the soft spot on the head, and we end up with that delicious meal in the garden, because this is the garden. But that doesn't mean that this isn't tough, and that you don't fall with your cross, and that and sometimes that's the point. You have to sit and rest. And luckily, somebody that you love, that cares about you, can come along, and they're not that in that moment where they're, struggling with their cross, and they can help you, and vice versa for you to help them.
Right. So when we're sometimes having our own challenge, sometimes that challenge isn't just for me. It's to watch, so someone's watching me have
Right,
my experience,
right.
and I'm being called to a moment. Okay, so
Yeah.
one time, it's not funny, this is actually true. Okay, I was very sick with diabetes. I was undiagnosed and didn't
Oh,
know. Okay, and so I was supposed to drive the kids to school. I found out I was going to have to drive the kids to school. So this was like across town to Benedictine, all the way across town. Well, we almost got killed on the highway that morning. And I got to Benedictine and I got out of that car. And Gloria,
yeah.
I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like,
Oh my God.
I'm sick. I'm sick. You called me to do this. And I said, why me? I actually said this. Why me? And my inner voice, my higher spiritual people go, it
Right,
had to be you. Because if it wasn't for you, it would have been one of the other mothers,
right.
and she never would have been able to do what you did in that moment. So it had to be
Oh,
you. So I don't really say why me. I know it has to be me for
that's the truth.
whatever reason. And those boys have never forgot that. They look at me and they're like, God, Mrs. Goldweber, you have mad skills. I go, well, thank God for all those biker days and I was getting my ass killed. But yeah, that's, no experience is wasted, people. And so even when you're in your worst moment and wondering why me, you're you're the hope for somebody else watching you survive, watching you thrive, watching you rise. And you're inspiring somebody, trust me, you are. And so again, we're all experiencing these things not only for our own experience, but sometimes to be a messenger or an example for someone else.
Or to
And
even be that person that someone gets to help.
absolutely. I mean, I do ask for help now.
It does.
And
It
and
means it makes a big, that's their karma too, to be able to go, oh my gosh, I can't tell you how many people, if they can help me, have told me, don't you think I want to be able to help you too? Look how much you've helped me. It's the same,
absolutely.
it's the figure eight. It's still
Circle, right, it's that reciprocal giving and receiving. We have to be, we have to allow that. If we're ever going to learn how to graciously receive from the
right.
universe, we have to graciously receive from each other. you
And
know,
it's
and
been
so,
a bigger lesson for me to, because I don't, it's, you know, that my integrity is, oh my gosh, I can do it. I don't need to
well,
ask for help.
well, again, part of our conditioning
It
is
is,
coming
right,
from these paradigms
right,
that taught us that. And I'm telling
right,
you, it's a lifetime of triggers that, you know, and again, it's hard to do, but we do it anyway, or we
right,
catch ourselves doing it, you know, but yeah, we're never going to be perfect and whole like we were when we first got here before people screwed us up. But we are working toward wholeness. I mean, every time you get an
right,
opportunity to go, oh, that's an old belief that, you know, and I need to ask for help. That's hard. You know, I've had to ask for help. It's not easy. But again, like you said, there's a million reasons why we're in a situation. And it's not
right.
always just to take us down or teach us an awful lesson. Sometimes it's because
No,
somebody else needs to experience it or see it.
that's right. Or you need to be just like when the landlord for the second center hit my business partner at the time physically in the face, and then I had to take him to court. That was 11 days of trial. He was
Hmm.
an attorney. He had three domestic abuse cases. He got away with all of them. Not found guilty. What I took him to court, and she literally said to me, Gloria, I need you to do this for me. So even though it was a heck of a time, because I'm a copious note taker and so forth, all the different elements were there for me to make sure, for me and the host of other people working in that situation were able to find him guilty finally. He was disbarred, okay? But I know that the universe, she put me there to
Hmm.
do that, to have him have his comeuppance.
Right.
Because you could see people, people, you say that all the time. Well, how come that person can just keep getting away with it and never seems to, have to pay the piper or be held accountable? They are. It's just a matter of timing. But you might be that person that's put there for that reason too.
Well, let me tell you, you can't escape the ultimate comeuppance, okay?
Right.
You might think you got away with stuff over here on this side of the road,
You don't
and
get
you
away with
might be the
anything.
antagonist in the play and not here to really
Right.
learn a damn thing. But when you get out of this body and you go to the other side and you have to judge yourself and your actions and hold
Right.
yourself accountable, that is a bad day, okay?
Right.
Because now it's over. You can't come back and say you're sorry. You can't come back and undo it. And that experience of judging yourself and holding yourself accountable and seeing the ripple of who you were.
Right. That's the
Trust me,
truth.
people, you don't ever want to wish people's karma on them because one way or another, they will face it.
Yep. That's true.
On this side of the road or on the other side, trust me, that's a bad day.
Right.
I channel those people. So
Yeah.
again, and I'm not worried about other people's karma. I'm worried about my own.
That's exactly right.
And like I said, even the villain in the play, some people come here just to be an asshole
That's
for the
all
whole
true.
time.
All
Okay.
true.
It's like Kevin
True.
Bacon taking a role as an asshole, you know, because he's a teacher. He's teaching. That person is a teacher. As much
Right.
as we hate it, it brings
Right.
the hero to rise. There's
Yes,
a
it does.
million reasons why. And that's why you just don't take them personal. So, but that's an arrival. Let me tell you, it takes a long time to learn how to
That's
circumvent that.
also
But
true.
I am so grateful to you, Gloria. I'm actually going to let you off the hook here, but
Sure.
Gloria Savage. She's an astrologer. She is an essential oil expert. Um, and I've known her for over 25 years now.
A
Jesus.
long time. I know. Can you believe this?
No.
I
You
know
know,
when they came with the corona and they were talking about, well, if you're at this age, you might be a little more vulnerable. And then older. And I'm thinking, oh, older. And then they say, the age. And I'm like, oh my God, that's me.
that's me, right? What? I'm 22 in my
What
mind.
happened? Where did it go?
I have no idea, but in my head, I'm 22. So,
Right.
yeah, so look forward to a lot more things from me,
Thank you so much.
Gloria. I'm looking so forward to whatever is going to happen and how we all end up out in the world again. I'm looking
And
forward
thanks
to
so
it.
much
But
for having me and letting me share that information.
so
And
if you
you've been
guys are more
very
interested in
gracious. I
astrology or want your
appreciate it.
chart done,
It's
thank you,
fun.
Gloria.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
for agreeing to this. Gloria and I
Okay.
have very parallel lives. It's so funny to sit and talk about it,
Yeah.
and then to end up in the music world together. That was so
Oh,
bizarre.
yeah. Yeah. You know what? Isn't it funny? The universe really draws it up so that you get it,
Right?
right?
You can't, you
What
could,
do
I
I
couldn't
have to
even,
do?
I know, right? We're so resistant.
Oh,
Well, I'm going to let
thanks so
Gloria go,
much.
and then I'm going to finish up with you guys here. So, Gloria, thank you so much. I hope you have a really great night, and I look forward to getting together soon.
Thank you. I do too. Thank you so
All
much.
right,
Good night,
sure,
everybody.
Gloria. Bye,
All right.
honey.
Bye bye.
Okay, kids. Thanks so much for doing this with me tonight. I'm going to look here really quick at the questions. Um, so I hope you guys understood some of that. It's really been very difficult. Because like I said, astrology is a very complicated science. And I know people don't consider it, but it is a metaphysical science. And I'm telling you, it's very complicated. But you don't have to know it all to understand how those planets affect us as human beings down in this world. So, so let's see. Yeah, I was in a rock band, Christina, back in the 80s. Uh-huh. That's a whole nother convo. Okay, kids, I'm so grateful for all of you being on here tonight. If anybody is facing anything, or we need to work through some things of grief or forgiveness or letting go, I would highly recommend you get a session with me. It's very comprehensive. It gives you a ton of understanding, and that way you and I can privately talk about what you have going on. And again, I'm here to give you those spiritual tools to help you clean out that closet so that you can come to a place of, you know, understanding that these things are happening for a much higher diviner reason. And once you connect with who's helping you on the other side, like your ancestors, your loved ones, then you'll come to understand that we're not down here doing it by ourselves, and we do have help, but they can't help us unravel this human uh, ball of yarn that we have down here. And that's why they send people like me, someone into your life. And like I said, let us help you. Wallowing in suffering is not what we're here to do. We're here to learn from it. We're here to process it, and we'll help you through it. You don't get over it, guys. You get through it. And you come out bigger, better, faster, stronger. I mean, I've had things happen to me that have practically taken me out. Okay. But if it wasn't for my faith and it wasn't for my toolbox and my, you know, understanding of how this works, okay, I would have lost it. Okay. And so if I can help you guys through anything, schedule a session with me. Don't send me an email, make a phone call. Until you actually make that call and put yourself on the calendar, um, you're not ready. So, and like I said, sessions are $80 an hour. And trust me, if you're in a really awful financial place, we'll work it out. Okay. It's about the money, but it's not about the money. Those things help me go out and do this stuff for free in the world. So, helping people that are having a tragic, awful thing happen that they have no control over. So, whatever you throw at me, it's just about returning something when you've taken. And so, yeah, the money's not the problem, guys. Just if you're serious about wanting help, then you need to call me on the phone and get on my calendar in order for us to really start working on this. And so, um, I so much look forward to hearing from you because, oh my God, the sense of peace that comes with this, like being heard and knowing that somebody's hearing you and then giving you insight and tools, and to know that you have divine helpers. But when we're down here in our suffering in our human place, you can't hear that divine knowing. That's why I can do it for you while you're there. But yeah, we're here to help you clean your closet and get ready for this huge, wonderful shift that's coming. Like I said, it's about, you don't have to know exactly where you're going, but you have to be willing to look back at where you've been and own your side of the road. Own your side of the road and promise, making a commitment to yourself and to the universe, that you're going to work at being part of the change in your own life, in the world. And this is a wonderful octane booster. It's a wonderful time to set those intentions because the universe is lining it all up. They're lining it all up. And those of us that are getting ready, amazing things are going to happen. But if people are going to be, trying to go back to sleep or doing nasty stuff, it is not going to be pretty. Yep. So let's see, Audria. Oh, yeah, this transformation is amazing, Audrey. I'm very excited about it as well. And we're giving birth to a new energy, but it's also an energy of order. And we need order. We haven't had order. There's been nothing but chaos. especially over the last 4 years. And we're all trying to work at creating order and getting in alignment with the higher, better thing, doing the right thing, not the easy thing. Okay. And less is more. And we got to take care of each other. So I'm very excited about that. I'm dealing with purging right now. I feel like I'm not able to focus on my healing with so much unnecessary stuff. Okay, well, sometimes we're in the midst of that. We're seeing, Gina, that we never had any boundaries and people don't know where so just call me and set an appointment. That's the best thing to do. And then you and I can talk about this privately and I'll give you some awareness and insight. Because when you're down in that grief place, you can't you can't see what's going on. This is why I advocate for people, because when you're in a traumatic situation, you can't even have words to talk. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've talked for people at welfare or talked for people you know, we're just holding the energy so that they had the energy to talk and to take their stand or whatever they need to do. So, it's very helpful. So yes, you're purging. However, I feel like I'm not able to focus on my healing with so much unnecessary stuff. Well, then we've got to say what we need. We have to tell people what we need. And if they don't care, they don't care. So get rid of them. There's a lot of issues here that we're waking up to, that we're finding out that we're in relationships with people, friends, bosses, work, romantic, where we're compromised or things are compromised. And now you're getting to see who you're really married to or you're really living with or who you've let into your life. And they've been like this the whole time, just that you're too busy to notice. All right, kids, let's see. Such a hot mess. Okay. Stop saying that out loud, Gina. We're all a hot mess. Some of us just, we're working on it. We're all purging, people. Purging's good because when you get rid of the purge, then the higher knowing, the higher awareness, the truth comes in. What did we learn from that? What are we willing to accept as a truth about ourselves and other people? Situations, so like I said, go back and listen to some of these. Okay, I'm not going there, Jason. I'm going to delete your comment. That went without saying. Oh my God, you guys are so funny. Thank you so much. I'm so much that you guys got a hold of, came and on live with me tonight. So purging doesn't mean just sitting and crying. Okay, purging means processing. Okay, so when we purge, it's like throwing up. Okay, when you throw up, you got to kind of look at what did I eat that made me throw up. Okay, that's what purging is. Purging isn't just letting it out, it's letting it out and assessing it so we know how not to do that again, to not eat those things, not to put those bad things in our body so that we purge. So emotional purging is not only just letting out the things that have hurt us, but understanding why we had the experience, how or that happened, and we work through the emotional process of healing that purge. So purging is one thing, but getting to a higher awareness and assessing that's the missing part. People think I'm just going to yell or scream or cry, and they vent. That's called venting. That's not purging. Okay, purging is where we purge and we look at it and we make an assessment of where that came from. How do we do that? What, maybe we need a doctor. Maybe we need, vitamins. Maybe we need, so again, purging is not venting. Okay, and most people don't know how to process emotion purposely in order to get to that higher truth, or how to be finished with something, or how to work through the process of really finishing things. So that's what sessions do with you. And this is why we go to have mental health professionals to help us through some of those traumas. So we can't just vent. We venting with purpose is, venting to be heard, listening to what you said, and then taking action on what you have control over. Okay, that's purging. So I look forward to hearing from you guys. I'm so grateful to Gloria for meeting up with me tonight on here. And if you guys have any other questions, let me know. So all my information will be on there. My website is mariannegoldweber.com. And my phone number and all my information is on there. And I look forward to hearing from you guys. And I might go live Monday. We'll see what goes on. but Gloria gave you some rituals. So just look up solstice rituals and just, yeah, this is about hibernation. It's about, like I said, putting down those plans. So if you guys have any questions about that, just re-listen to the video and you can take notes. So thanks so much, guys. I really am so grateful for you. God bless you. Have a great evening, and I'll talk to you soon.